All right, hey, thanks for tuning in for this week's development stream. I went on a bit of a hiatus or just disappeared for about a month. Was busy with some personal stuff and vacations, and also OBS wasn't working very well. I rearranged my office and took everything apart, put it back together again, and it kept lagging and freaking out. So if you'd been on previous streams, you noticed it was choppy. I reinstalled OBS and rebuilt all my scenes and sources, and it turns out it's my webcam. I'm not sure why, but with my Logitech, the Pro Stream, as soon as it's added as a source, it starts breaking and getting real choppy. I haven't been able to figure it out. I've added it, I've adjusted the buffers or buffering it and changing the frame rate, and it still just doesn't work well. Not even when streaming, just when recording locally. So I have that removed and gonna try to get back into streaming and kick off by working on phpstan-drupal. It's been a while since I've worked on it, and it's been almost a month since it's released. Yeah, so I want to get a new release out, hopefully with some nice little fixes. First, I want to check the latest actions to see if anything's broken on the scheduled test. Looks like it has not. Or it has. Okay. So core baseline is working, but the build integration test on head is not. An update of this package is not requested. Oh. Okay. Let's try to look at that run and see if we can fix it. So workflows and then build integration. There's core baseline. Just collapse some of these tests. Okay, so build integration at the step for require phpstan-drupal, and this has of course got so much in it. Let's see. Okay, so it's failing at this step where it requires itself with the alias version with dev main as one. Oh, that's why. 1.2. So let's try updating that. Let's do a diff v fix. The reason why is I released 1.2.0 on my last stream, and I think Drupal core updated to it. And that could be one reason, but also, and head is fixed. Okay, so looks like Drupal core, I did a release and Drupal core fixed itself. So let's go update this. Let's do git branch d, fix head. Because apparently I already had one of those. So Drupal core fixed itself, and now I need to fix this as well. So Drupal core probably has 1.2.0. Oh, I feel like this might. I wonder if this is gonna break on not Drupal 10, 11. So let's open composer.json here, and for let's do 10.0.x because that's old. No, not the .lock file. So if we look for phpstan-drupal, it says minimum. So semver.maywithlove.be. I think this is the cool. So if you never checked this out, I'll go ahead and paste this into the chat. That's right. For some reason with OBS chat, I can't paste. So it's a cool UI for exploring package constraints. So let's go back. Just copy this package name, and then we're going to paste in this constraint. Okay, so we shouldn't have an error by saying that we're 1.2.99 because it will be picked up. So we can go ahead and then review this test failure. Line 12. So this was throwing an error, but then they fixed the bug. The bug was due to the ordering of interfaces. I don't have that handy anymore, but it was a very fun and quirky error. Or wait, hold on. If version, let's go look at this again. Okay, yes, this should not be, okay, so that is, yeah. I feel like this rule should be adjusted though. So that way we prove the stub is doing something. Let's do, let's say generic entity storage equals Drupal anytype manager get storage. Let's do an assert generic entity storage instance of entity storage interface generic entity storage generic entity storage load revision. This should be deprecated. So now the error should be on line 15 and not 12. So let's go ahead and commit that. Fix test after Drupal core changes. All right, let's push. And then create the branch. Or not create the branch, but create the pull request. There we go. All right, so this will take a minute to run. I'm going to do some issue triage in the meantime. I'm going to see if I can find the link to this issue. No, where? Oh, yeah. Improve this revisionable storage interface stub. Got it. So this was the Drupal issue that was fixed where they deprecated a method on an interface, and based off of how phpstan was loading the interfaces that were implemented, it was being cached. So the deprecation message was getting cached for the one interface method, but then it was overridden or superseded, but that wasn't being respected due to the ordering. This commit should explain that pretty easily. So in here, way to stop extending entity storage. Actually, I wonder if I can delete these now and the test would still work. I'll keep them around. But this was the big change, is flip-flopping these. And yeah, so everything should be good. The test should pass. So now that I'm there, let's go. I need to go review these PRs. Let's go look at these two. Eventually, I'll get back to some of these feature items, but so render callback rule, check if method exists. Oh, I think this is good to go. Core baseline failed. That's all. I'm gonna click update branch. Okay, yeah. This is an error. So I have to figure out why that's failing. This would be cool. So it just ensures that a method exists in trusted callbacks. So this get allowed, it invokes the method statically and then gets back the values. So it's kind of bad, but it's invoking code, but it also ensures that everything inside that method is callable. Which hopefully in Drupal 11, the trusted callback interface is deprecated, or is deprecated in Drupal 10 and removed in favor of using an attribute. So the reason Drupal has this is since we have a render system that allows calling functions, added security layers were implemented to restrict what can be called inside the render tree. And before that was like implementing an interface that said these methods can be called. Now that we have PHP 8 and Drupal 10, we can move that to be an attribute that's tagged on the method. Then this fixes a bug around module load include, but the problem is that Drupal has code that gets scanned, which reports a false positive, and maybe this is an okay problem to have. But I first want to try to get this render callback rule figured out. So, all right, so let's go see if there's any new issues because I haven't really looked at this project in a bit. Forbid usage of unique ID, replace uses of unique ID across core, and worth having static analysis check that did not regress. So I did look at this earlier, and I think that should go into a custom package and not be something that phpstan-drupal decides. So I want to look at the extension library and unofficial third-party rules, disallowed calls, banned code. There are methods like this. But here we go. I'm gonna link this example. I have a feeling we may not want to add this, but in this example, you could say if a function call is made, don't allow it to be this method or that function. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go over to this issue and give some feedback. And this is for my own time. Not think this code should go into phpstan-drupal. Seems a bit too opinionated. Like a candidate for a third-party library, like ban code, which allows banning particular functions and other code to be used. Drupal core does not need to. I'm not going to sound that confident. So Drupal core does not need to add that library, though it could provide the rule itself and register it within the phpstan.neon. So we could have Drupal core phpstan rules, no unique ID rule that checks function call for that function. And then services, then it would just Then Drupal core, then the phpstan.neon just needs. I can copy this from here. Nope. What do I want? Extension. Do I not have a rule in here? Oh, here we go. The following added. All right. I commented on this one feels a bit too opinionated for this package. And let's see, close is not planned. All right, let's see if fix changes. Why did this fail? Okay. So Drupal 10 failed. All right. Okay, so .11.x passed. So we have an error with Drupal 10. Drupal core changed its branch convention as well. So let's see. I need to try to replicate this locally. So let's upgrade to Drupal 10. And Composer. Because right now I have the lock file set up to mimic or to run on Drupal 9. Probably should just bump it, but I'm trying to stay with like, actually Drupal 9 is going to be gone this fall, so I should change the base to be Drupal 10. All right, so let's do Composer install. Or no. Okay, of course, I have this action now. One second. This works great in the CI, but I'm not getting it. Okay. Remove the no update. Not to see how hard it is to change this. change my baseline from Drupal 9 to be Drupal 10. It's probably going to require finagling every single workflow. All right, so I just got to wait for this to finish. Then I can run the test, and I need to do the same for Drupal dev, the dev branch, 11.x. All right, it's ran. Now we can see if the test will run. And hopefully it didn't forget to be able to parse phpstan-drupal, so that way we can actually run the test. If not, we can do it the old school way. PHP vendor bin, PHP unit, test source. What is this? Rules, revisionable stub test. Okay, so this passed now with Drupal 10. So that passed. If I comment this out, it should fail the same way as the CI. No, that that passed as well, but failed here. Great. Oh, this only went to 10 alpha. Hold on. Why? Why? So let's do composer. Why not? It is installed. Stack cores. Did I not do? Second, let's see. Build integration. So alias for self. Oh shoot! So this is using set up Drupal, and this is what ends up installing everything. No, this is under test, not build integration. Boo! This is just doing it. Second, I need to see how this action is running, because for some reason I didn't replicate it. Bin composer install locked. Oh, is it just? Just do composer update. All right, there we go. Wait for this to finish again. Okay, now we can run the test. PHP Storm is going to go ahead and index once more. Okay, so we replicated the error that was on the CI. If I rerun it, this should fix itself, be fixed. And then I need to test it with 11.x. Okay, so it did fix. Great. Let's run composer update. So now we should get let's pause this indexing. So now we need to see what happens when we're on 11.x because it changed. Drupal's trying to change from a branch per major minor version to like a main branch, like a canonical main branch. And then once a release is cut, that's when the minor release branch is made and things get cherry picked and bug fixes go there. So there's going to be a main branch and then like 11.0. And bug fixes will go to 11.0 and be cherry picked back to main, or go on main and then cherry picked back to 11.0. Instead of having like a 10.1 and a 10.2 and a 10.3 being active all at the same time. To try to make management a little bit easier. It's going to be disruptive for existing tooling because it is new, but let's see. So I actually don't know what's going to happen here. Okay. So it's showing that there was at least an error on 15. And it's not being caught by this issue. So, or by this logic check. So let's say, let's go look for Drupal core itself. .dev. So let's try this out. Or no, wait, what was the error here? The error did assume, never mind, this is working. So we have this error. Then we could do if version compare version 11.0, say less than. Okay, so if it's greater than 10.1, we should see this deprecation. And if we're less than fix was committed to 11.x 8, on an ad break just hit. I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. Thanks for joining. Let's see. I want to make sure I get this note in really quick. Fix was committed to 11.x to rearrange, which I don't even know how to word this. There's a quirk on 10.x plus, which false reports this error, but was fixed on 11.x. All right. So if I run this test, I think it will pass. No. Wait. Hold on here. If wait. No, yeah, if Drupal version is less than 11.0, it shouldn't be catching. Just debug this really quick. What? Is it because of the .dev in it? Version 1. Let's just try this. Just quick, replace these. And step through. Okay, then it was skipped and probably passed. Oh, fun. I actually don't know much about Site Factory. Over at, oh, come on now. That's all right. What was I do? Okay, there we go. This looks like it's passing. It's going to solve a lot of the issues we were facing with agents. Well, that's good. I know it's one of, like, I don't, shoot. That just undid the fix. No, it didn't. Okay, it's here. Why isn't it showing up? What did I do? Oh, why is this an ignore? That's yeah. Site Factory solves so I don't do a lot with Site Factory. I never did beforehand. Um my day job work at Aqua is on a different side of it, but for anybody who's not familiar with it, Drupal is has this way of taking a single code base and basically running it at scale to be not really multi-tenant because it's not a single database, but in a way it is multi-tenant because it's one code base with multiple databases being served and it's segmented logically by the domain that's accessing the website. And Acquia has a service, a hosting part of its hosting service called Site Factory, which lets you say you have your one code base, but then scale out to hundreds to 200 different sites using one single code base and doing operations on it. I, in my history, used a different project called Eager, not the brewing company, and let's see, Drupal, Eager. There we go. Eager hosting system. So the Eager project is runs like the same concept where it handles multi-site and scaling. That so this is a if you're gonna roll your own, or like Acquia has a comparable platform. So once let me get this. Let me just do diff. All right. Conditionals on dev branch. That sounds like a good enough commit. I wish plus the DR compatibility. It's going to take a lot of the heavy lift. I wish I knew what DR meant. I actually don't know what that acronym means by saying DR. Disaster recovery. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's one thing about always having a vendor instead of rolling it yourself is tried and true things like that, like disaster recovery. I've been on so many projects where like we need to save costs, we're gonna do it ourselves, and then all of a sudden you realize you're on the hook and responsible for everything out there, and you have to learn it all yourself. Whereas if you have a vendor, chances are they've thought about it and they have customers that are relying on it, and they've been able to verify it over and over and over again, or are testing for it. Um, which is one reason like my personal site isn't on some small virtual private server. Like I've got it on I got it on platform.sh and it's been there for a long time. Is it worth paying that much money for my personal site? Not really, but at the same time, yeah, because it automatically deploys on commits and I don't have to worry about it breaking. And I'm kind of sick of it being like, hey, I'm going to work on my website, update it, and at 12 at midnight, next thing you know, an hour later, and my server's down because I did something stupid. Like, personally, I'd rather pay more money than deal with that anymore. Let's see. So this I did investigation, and the scope provided by phpstan is not in depth enough to make these kind of scope decisions. I don't know about the node being processed. We may need Drupal rector to add the comment. So what this issue is referencing is with Drupal Rector. So like my biggest complaint with Drupal Rector has been, and Rector in general, is it's great if you're trying to fix everything at once. Like when you're a hammer, everything's a nail. And with Rector, it's a hammer and it just smacks everything, which is fine if you're working with client code and you're on the latest version of Drupal core, like the latest minor version. But it's not the greatest if you're on like a previous minor version and it tries to fix code and the code doesn't work, or if you're using it for contributed modules and those contributed modules want to support the 3 minor versions of Drupal core that are in security support. So if you fix it for 10.2, well, it's going to break on 10.1 because 10.2 probably introduced new code, or things like that, of that nature, not that specific. So in Drupal core, we now have a helper method, or a helper, that lets us call backwards compatible code. So depending on a version, it calls code or not. Let's see if I can pull up the example really quick from a test. Yeah. So this deprecation helper backwards compatible call, basically pass in a version, pass in the introduced version. If Drupal core is less than 10.5, it'll call this first callable. If it's greater than, it's going to use the new code. So that was introduced so that way Rector could use this, or just manually writing contrib code. You can do these backward compatible calls. And in Rector, we've introduced a new contract that every rule needs to say its introduced version, or will say that. So an example here, if we look at Drupal 8.2, now people are way past this, but this rule says I was introduced at 8.2. So back in the day, if you're on like 8.1, it would skip running until you were on at least 8.2 and then fix the code. So when this PR lands, it's going to make it a lot smarter and also introduce these backwards compatible checks. The problem is phpstan might still see this call and say, that's deprecated method, or that's a deprecated function. But we want to make phpstan smart enough to know that is an allowed deprecated scope. Like if we're being called as part of this helper method, don't mark it as deprecated. So that's one thing that's going on, because everybody was doing patterns like this before. Now hopefully it can be standardized. We'll see. I want to pin this. It is pinned. Okay. Let's see if this passed. Oh, come on. For real? This passed. Oh, I fixed it on 11.x and I didn't go back to check it on. Oh, the ordering matters. I didn't think about that. All right, let's go back here. So I guess we will go here, git commit AV, ordering matters. All right, I'll do a push. All right, hopefully then this will be the last fix so I can move on. So there, deprecated hooks not flagged. This also ties in here. So Drupal uses hooks and they can be deprecated, and there's like no way to know. I tried an approach that didn't work, and let's see here. Per this comment, 4 deprecated hooks in Drupal core, but there are contrib that have it. So one thing that was proposed is to do a hard-coded check, and we have a hard-coded check right now for deprecated constants, because constants cannot be, the code comments from global constants cannot be reflected. Oh, that's a mouthful. So if you do like define datetime storage, it cannot be reflected unless it's like on a class. So we have this hard-coded list of deprecated constants, which Drupal core is getting rid of them, so it's growing less and less. But the idea is to, I want to create a rule that says deprecated hooks and then we configure the rule to say, look for this function signature for this hook, and then it could be configured so that way contrib could register them as well. So I like this idea. I want the rule to be configurable via a parameter. So that way we have deprecated hook rule with string hook name as an argument. So something like, let's see, rules are auto wired. So let's go to extension. These are all extensions. So hold on, I just looked at that one repo. Earlier, and let's take their example here of, haha, this is where we go. Say it's YAML, so it gets formatted. So class, I'm not gonna do the full namespace. So we would do class deprecated hook rule arguments would be so we do form field widget alter. That would also allow, or actually, hold on a second. So allow handling by another definition of. I'm typing this out, but I think this could be done even more easily. Or I think phpstan merges parameters. So maybe the rule could be, I think this works. I'm pretty sure that things get merged because folks can define their own entity mappings and it doesn't lose these. So I think it's like a merge deep. So we could do what's the thing I'm looking for here? Is it, just copy this back again. So I'm bouncing all over the place. So we could say Drupal deprecated hooks and say parameters Drupal deprecated hooks. All right, I'm going to comment. So I think this could work where we create a rule that's configured and then people can add deprecated hooks to their extensions, or contrib modules could add a phpstan extension that gets included, that's documented on the README. So Search API could include this definition. So that way it gets auto completed. So I'm going to close this for this issue, which will handle detecting hooks based on my above comment, but be flexible enough for all future deprecations. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to pin this one so I don't forget about it and pretend that I actually use labels. All right. So let's go see. Okay, this is passing. This isn't going to ruin the baseline. I'm just going to go ahead and squash and merge to head back to green. And let's figure out why this is failing again. So this one's going to be a bigger issue. So let's go look at this render callback rule. So the test failed. Why? I need to update the branch. That's why. Need to update the branch. Okay, here's internal method of bubbling test cannot be used as the class does not exist. And rendering bubbling test. So yeah, why? Method of class cannot be used. Yeah, what's going on here? Oh, that's why. Bubbling test. So this class is inside the test and implements trusted callback interface. So if we looked at, it's trying to invoke this method, but the class wasn't loaded while handling this file. Okay, so let's go click update one more time. I'm going to check out this PR locally. So git checkout main, git pull, do GitHub PR checkout. All right. And let's go run that test. Or this is on, oh wait, this is when the head baseline is being scanned. So what should we do? What should we do? Placeholders test. Oh. This is because Drupal put, no, it didn't. Recursion test is placeholders test. Where does this live? And render test base. Cool. Great. Nothing like files defining extra test methods inside of it. That we can't get Drupal just to fix. So what that means we have to do is in our auto loading of Drupal. So if you don't know, one of the main magic things behind phpstan-drupal is the fact that it makes phpstan auto load Drupal, because Drupal has a very dynamic auto loading setup based on the available modules and everything else. phpstan just says, here's all the namespaces that are possible. We have this here to load the legacy includes. And handle this quirkiness. So I wonder if we need to handle these. To basically load these files manually. So that way they can be parsed. Which is somewhat annoying, but The reason why this is happening is the file wasn't actually required. It's being parsed, but it was never loaded. So PHP doesn't know how to go find the file and load the class due to the autoloader. So we could say this load test files with test classes. No, with fixture classes. Okay, that's what I call this. Is to load test files with fixture classes. Let's create the method. Excuse me. So how does this work? This, we need to do this Drupal root. What is this? Drupal root is always core. I never remember. Let's just look. Okay, Drupal root is not core. So we're going to take these lines, say acquire once, for tests, building test. So let's do files equals array. Let's make this a little bit smarter. So we can do for each files as file, if file exists, and this is going to be impossible to test locally because it's scanning Drupal core, and I wasn't able to get this to trigger. Excuse me. Let's write a test to scan this class, but I really don't want to do that. So render a bubbling test, placeholders test, render recursion test. So this doesn't actually have it loaded. It's in renderer test base. So let's copy. Let's do copy path reference. Let's just say from content root. And paste. So it's core test Drupal. So bubbling test. Bubbling test is in renderer bubbling test. Got it. Placeholders test is in the render test base. Test callables is in render test, which is in the same directory, core render test. And placeholders test. All right, so let's push this up, and it sucks because this takes like 7 minutes to run. Oh well. Load test classes with fixture tests to. Oh, there's an ad break. All right. So I'm gonna go commit that now. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention, didn't see an ad break was coming. All right, so this will load the files. Load test classes with fixture. Test classes. Let's commit. I'm not gonna push it within phpstorm because it always gets weird when I end up checking out from a pull request. So let's just do git push. And we'll see where that ends up. So let's see. What other little quick, this deprecated hook flags, I'm going to say for next week, possibly, or maybe we'll start on it now. I just want to go through triage. Wait, there's a pull request. Oh, this, my original idea, where we try to scan a bunch of things. So this one came up with why is this needed? And fail to validate handler, submit handler does not exist. So this is a quick, easy one that I'm going to add. This user was using it and didn't they started setting up phpstan directly and then didn't realize why they needed phpstan-drupal, so they didn't add it. And I realized that nothing said why you need to use phpstan-drupal. So let's go ahead, read me. So somewhere in the docs, it says we'll just say Drupal uses dynamic. I don't even know the right way to word this. So the problem is, let's see. So sponsors usage. phpstan discovers symbols through composers, through auto loading. How do they word this? Maybe this won't be an easy one because words are always hard. Let's do discovering symbols. phpstan discovers phpstan is able to discover symbols. We'll make this a link to those docs through by auto loading code, by using auto loading provided by composer. However, Drupal doesn't. However, Drupal does. Drupal code does not use composer auto loading for extension namespaces. That's, I don't know the right way to word this because they got hung up. They said composer dependencies, but so we can say phpstan is able to discover symbols by using auto loading provided by composer. I'll just get something up and then they can review it because I'm not good enough at this right now. However, Drupal does not provide auto loading information for modules and themes. This project registers those namespaces so that phpstan can properly load and probably discover symbols in your Drupal code base automatically. I don't know if I want it right here either, but maybe that's okay. So let's do git new branch, GitHub. What's this called? 601. Why needed? Git commit AV. Add information on why this package is needed. Push U origin. Let's create the PR. All right, and I should have said that this fixes 601. Fixes. Can I add? I cannot. Say, can you review to see if this is going in the right direction? There. All right, let's look at this. Now that, oh, now the linting's broken. So it didn't even get there. Oh, for real? Way to go, me. So GitHub PR checkout. Let's load this, look for that symbol. Void. It's just PHP vendor bin phpstan. Aha. Oh. Okay, yeah, that's, no, we're going to be ignoring that. I'm going to get diff. A fixed return type. All right. So we'll wait for that to run again. This was a cool one where there should be a rule that checks if there's a form validate hook added or submit, and check if it is actually callable, because there was an issue where somebody's module had an invalid callback. So I'm going to add some notes for this, because we kind of inspect this right now. So if we go to rules, render callback rule. So we check the supported keys here. And so we check on array item, an access callback, lazy builder. And we're able to inspect. Why is this erroring? Huh. Okay. And we're able to inspect render arrays for their values. So just to make notes, this should be possible and is similar to callback which checks item. However, I don't think it's been tested with the same value assignment that usually happens with submit handlers and validate handlers in form API. So I've not tested it with this kind of code. So the rule would need to check on array item and then validate and then check that all assigned values are callable, which is what a callback rule does. Let's look at Drupal's form builder really quick. So it sets the submit handlers. Okay, let's get the submit handlers. So my thought is here, does this allow service names? So execute handlers for each handler as callback, batch set callback, prepare callback. So if it's string callback, okay, so we have some of the same items. So looks like service name patterns are not supported, but the shorthand name is, which is the same as name, but invoked as an instance method, not statically. Okay, so that should be possible. Now what? No. No, no, no. Hmm. Well, that's not expected. So in Drupal's autoloader, we have this fun little tidbit where, if I can find it, Drupal has this class writer that mutates the class to support multiple versions of PHP unit. And I'm guessing that I need to move this call to happen after the where is it? After the base class is mutated, and the idea is that the default code is missing the return type, and then this class, if it exists, rewrites the class method. It's super confusing. and has been a nightmare to deal with. I think this shows an example here. No, it doesn't. Okay. Oh, test case. So it ends up rewriting the before class to not have the return type, essentially. So let's try diff get commit AV load test classes after class writer executes. So let's see if that fixes it. So let's rerun here. Custom field property with date cannot be found. So yeah, this is to be expected. In Drupal, fields have dynamic properties, and I wish they just like this should just work. So if we do field item base, does this extends map? Does this have get entity? Where's the magical get? So it has a getter, but for some reason when fields are analyzed, it says the property doesn't exist, even though it has a magical get method on it. I guess phpstan doesn't just support these, so the workaround is to annotate it with an @property string, which in this case it might not actually be a date. It could be a different object. So I think I'm going to close this because it's a fix, but I guess I should just see if usage deprecation testing adapting to your project, and these storage mappings, any type mappings for contrib. Yeah, so like the paragraphs module could provide its entity type mappings by doing an include this way. Maybe this should be a oh, I can't document all the things. phpstan explains how to do this, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to close. It's probably a more common support item. Can't think of a great way to solve when it's on phpstan's docs. Writing PHP code, PHP doc types, or PHP basics, properties. Actually, where is this? Has got to load. So for docs, I actually wanted to put the docs on Drupal.org instead of the GitHub wiki. Maybe it's a good candidate to put on the docs. When it to solve, it's on the phpstan docs for Git setups, docs about custom field type properties. All right, anybody can contribute to the docs, so I'm just going to leave it there. This failed. Yep, that's not gonna work. Okay, so shoot. So if we load it, it crashes. But if it gets analyzed, it doesn't crash at all. I don't know what to do in this case. This just does the autoloader. Or oh wait. I think I have a better idea. Um, so hold on. Instead of loading it, namespace, just namespaces, add module namespaces, add core test namespaces. What do we got going on here? I need to think for a second. So this registers the namespaces. So autoloader add PSR4. Add class map. Add. Nope. PSR0 directory. Add class map. I think this is what I need to do. So yes, this is what needs to happen. This isn't being used. I need to figure out a better place to put it. Add core test namespaces. Yes, let's move this here. So I'm going to cut that out. Add core test namespaces. So we're going to say that bubbling test. We're going to copy this reference. So bubbling test, bubbling render test base. Let's copy the reference. And then in renderer test, oh joy, there's let's copy this reference. There's two things in here. Copy this reference. Test callables. All right. So if I look at this correctly, with the composer and the autoload class map, it's an array of class name to the files that it is located at. So I'm hoping that I need to see inside core. Let's look at its composer JSON. And so its class map is to lib_drupal. Well, hopefully this works. So we can say this for each, let's say class map as class name. This autoloader add class map. Oh, actually, we can just do this. We don't even need to. We don't even need to go that far. How fast did this fail? It failed when running PHP unit. So let's try that. Let's do PHP vendor bin PHP unit and see if this crashes. So instead of requiring it, we're just going to make PHP stand or the autoloader aware of it, like I was talking about with that README. It's about bridging these kind of gaps. So I really hope this is the right usage. Oh, core test, add class map. Find all class files. So does this do? Test discovery. Oh, is this still here? And it moved? Okay. All their problem. Okay, so yes, class file. Great. Class file. Let's commit this. Click the right icon. Diff. Commit AV. Do not load files. Add as a class. Map to autoloader. That's a good question. I don't need to do double backslashes. I might have to. Thank you for catching that. Let me mute my phone. Thank you. It didn't error, so I'm not sure. But let's look at this example class. Yep, look, double backslashes right there. And then, actually, let's just go back to this one. Yes, so double backslashes, find all class files, triple backslashes here, namespaces, scan directory, class map. Yep, you're right. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. Okay, sorry, I missed the snooze for that ad break, but it gave me a chance to just take my own little break. So let's add the double slashies. Thank you again for calling that out. Let's do, so get add, get commit, and no edit. Let's do a get show of that commit just to make sure. Yep, let's do a get push. And we'll see. I'm going to actually watch it this time to see how fast. Actually, that's a lie. I'm going to go look at the issues again really quick. So looked at that one, looked at that one. Commented on that. Currently too strict. Provide more info. Ooh, this one. This looks like a big one, but this is a bug. Wait, no. Bug. That's triaged. Hmm. Let's go there. This needs to be. I'm so sick of this where I have my kernel test base stub in the modules property always wants an array schema. So I do want to take care of that. I want to see. All right, this has gotten further than the others, so let's go over that way. Let's go to the main. GitHub 5.1 kernel test base stub. Sorry if you hear any pounding. Apparently the dogs upstairs are flopping around and playing, and they're kind of loud through the ceiling. All right, kernel test base. This lovely static that doesn't say it's just an array of strings. So I think this is the first test stub. So let's create that directory. Kernel tests. Let's make the class. So new file, kernel base test.stub. Oh, hopefully I can just copy this. So when doing stubs in PHPstan, you also have to stub all the dependencies if they don't exist. I hope that doesn't mean I need to provide a stub for test case. Service provider interface, Drupal core dependency injection, that doesn't exist, so I need to do that. Actually, I'll just walk through it and verify it that I have to. So before I get too far, holy cow, test case, here it is. So it uses test case and it implements Drupal core service provider interface, right? If we swoop, yep. So we're there. And for the stub, that means we just need to copy this definition. We paste it. I really don't think it matters how much I'm indenting, but all right, I'll just copy. So this would be var. It's just an array of strings. That's all it is. Stubs do get validated, so I'm going to run my stubs test. And there we go. Kernel test space implements unknown interface. Service provider interface. So I need to stub that out. That goes to core. Dependency injection. Which if that's, I'm going to have to then stub out the container builder. Yep. Joy. Okay, so since it's a stub, I don't need all of this. Let's hit play. And then it's probably going to complain about the container builder. Parameter container of method has invalid type. Kernel test space unknowns extends unknown class. Oh. I feel like this has a stub. Yeah, so for example, then I have to even go there. Okay, so parameter container of method has invalid type. So now we need to stub container builder and hope this doesn't go down a huge rabbit hole. So then I have to stub out the container interface. Oh yeah. I feel like it would be easier just to get Drupal core to fix it at this point. Implements unknown interface, Drupal container interface, base container interface. All right, let's see. Maybe this won't be too bad. Dependency injection, container interface. So if anybody's ever looking for like a good contribution thing for Drupal core, I think it would be reviewing all of our stubs in phpstan-drupal and seeing why do these exist? What could we do to remove the stubs from phpstan-drupal into Drupal core? All right. Container builder extends unknown class. Yeah, I'm not going down this rabbit hole just to be able to stub. What if I don't think this will do it, but let's see. Let's go delete these. I don't think this will work, but I would love it. Hey, it does. Wouldn't you know? Cool. All right. I didn't think that worked. So kernel based stub. I would like to test it. But I don't have a great way to do that. So let's just toss it up and see. So stub modules on kernel test base. So you have PR create, edit fixes 590. So that's got a PR now. Let's see. Okay, good. The baseline's running. what happened before is that it was causing a fatal error when doing the baseline scan. So if this doesn't error, then we are fixed. So we'll see what happens if we can pass. Okay, there we go. 70%. Deprecated hooks. And there's the stub. This needs enhancement. Okay, so that should be fixed. Render callback rule ignores trusted errors. Only checks if the class implements trusted. Oh, wait a second. That's what we're working on now. Okay. Resolves 561. So that'll be fixed. This is calling static element on trait. PHP 8.1. Ooh. phpstan 11 will support this. Okay, I don't have a link to that. Or here, let's wait. Let's look at this. Implemented. Oh, 1.x. According to, it should be supported, detected on the 1.10. On, when was this open? May? Yeah. On, should be supported, detected as of phpstan 1.10. I'm going to close it because there's nothing I could do about it. Oh, wait. But what version? Rules. Callable rules. I don't know what version of it is, but we're just going to call it because I can't really do much. Check the baseline. Oh, for real? All that work and it still didn't load. So this didn't fix the internal error. I don't know because it does exist in that error. Class has trusted callbacks. It invokes it for each if has. Let's start a review. So internal error. Hold on. Cannot be used as a class does not exist in file. We need to know. I wish there's a stack trace. We'd need to run the code. So we need to run phpstan with phpstan-drupal and this PR against Drupal core using debug at least against to get the full stack trace. I don't know why phpstan can detect, but PHP's internal reflection breaks. I don't know what to do here. I'm gonna just punt that one because this feels like it's a lot of effort to validate that they exist, and it's just not working, or it's just dancing around too many Drupal core issues. Right, this is running. I would hope this breaks core, but I don't think it will due to the fact that Drupal core is at level 1. And I don't think this check runs until you use a higher level. Okay, we're getting to some older issues. Similar to, okay, there's the entity access items. There's interesting issues here where we have internal types that say this code means it's an access check entity query, but once you assign it to this property, it is query interface and gets skipped. And the same issue happens here. We're node get query. It knows that it's an access checked query here, but when it runs this code, it doesn't know its type, or it forgets our custom type and then reports an error when it shouldn't. So that's another like big one to dive into that I don't even have a plan for. This trait, so yeah, so this I'm gonna say this is not a fix. They're dynamically setting a property inside of a separate method that we don't know actually gets invoked. So we're not going to fix that. I don't know why they'd be doing this. So split apart that rule, track deprecated drush constants. Some wasted provided. Yes. All right. There's things. Manually created services. Yeah. I'm not sure there. I just want to see if this baseline finishes. The errors, and then I'll probably merge, although I don't know if there's anything to even release. Did I merge anything on this call with this stream? Oh, I just updated head, which that was just all test driven code. So that's not worth releasing. All right. Well, I'm going to set this up to merge. I'm going to merge this once it passes. I think that's going to call it for this stream. Just wanted to do some triage here. I'm not sure what I'll do next week. I think next week I might just have like a fun stream. So, uh, I actually started to play D&D. I've actually never played Dungeons and Dragons before, and just got into a group with my friends and started playing. Which, of course, the nerd in me was like, "Hey, I want to like write a game. Like, I want to try to write a dice rolling game." And I thought about doing so just to have some fun. So next stream I might just sit and say, what's it like to build a simple game engine in PHP that has like a dungeon crawler with dice and attacks? So I might do that or work on retrofit for Drupal. Um, I'm not sure where I'm going to go, but I am going to get back on my weekly streaming. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you next week.